Hi again, and good evening, guys. And tonight I'm going to take a look at a movie I saw for the first time, actually, last night. Alfred Hitchcock's 1966 production of Torn Curtain. It's a Cold War set thriller, an intelligent thriller, which stars, at the time, very hot property in Hollywood stars Paul Newman and Julie Andrews. Hitchcock didn't actually want to cast these actors; they were kind of forced on him by the studio, from what I've read. And it kind of shows. Paul Newman was a very big star at the time this was made, but he just seemed kind of distant and almost bored in this role, I thought. And a lot of other people have noticed this too. Uh, he just seems a little stiff. And Julie Andrews, although she was very popular at the time, coming. Remember, this is right after the success of The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins. So she was hot property at the time, but she just seems a bit like she's in the wrong film here. She doesn't know what kind of film she's in. And apparently the stars didn't much get on with Hitchcock. He wanted to work with Tippi Hedren again, who he worked with on The Birds and Marnie, but the studio, for some reason, weren't satisfied with her. Um, the Birds and Marnie didn't make the financial rewards that Psycho got. It didn't have the same praise that Psycho got in the box office receipts, so the studios didn't want him to cast Tippi Hedren. So he ended up with two actors that he didn't want to work with. And he also fell out with his longtime composer Bernard Herrmann while he was making this film. Herrmann had worked with him on many films that he did. He did The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, Psycho, and the studio imposed on Hitchcock. They wanted a more pop-oriented soundtrack, pop and jazz, and Herrmann didn't want to do that, and he defied the studio and Hitchcock's wishes and produced one of his normal works, and it led to a disagreement between him and Hitchcock, and he ended up leaving the project, and they never worked together again, sadly. Herrmann was a great composer, and he's sadly missed. The film itself, at the time this was made, James Bond was all the rage. Like, the Bond series had come out, and they were massively successful, especially 1964's Goldfinger. And they wanted something that could compete with that. And so Hitchcock returned to the kind of formula which he earlier perfected with North by Northwest. This film is no North by Northwest, but I actually didn't think it was that bad. Like, despite the problems with the production, it was actually a fairly intelligent and gripping in some scenes thriller. There's a murder scene in the movie. The main hero. I should go into this plot a little bit. The story is about an atomic physicist, I think, who's on a conference in Europe with his girlfriend, played by Julie Andrews, and Paul Newman plays the scientist, and he's supposed to be going to Stockholm for this visit with this professor from some university, and she finds out, his girlfriend, that he's actually going to East Berlin. He's going to East Germany. So she kind of smuggles herself onto the plane with him, and they end up in East Germany, and she is shocked to find out that he's defecting to the East, to the communist side, and giving them his secrets. And later on we find out it's all a ruse, and he's actually an asset. He's an agent for the Americans, and he's been sent to meet with this professor in East Berlin and steal their atomic formula. And as I was saying earlier, there's a murder scene in a farmhouse. The Germans send a man to follow Newman around to make sure he's not getting up to any trouble. And it's a really tense scene when they end up in this farmhouse, and the lady in the house helps Newman reluctantly to silence this guy because he's found out that he's not a defector. He's working with the Americans, and it's just so brutal, this scene. It puts even Psycho to shame. It's just really violent and in your face and intense, and it just doesn't let up. You have to suffer through the whole thing with the victim, and the butcher knife, kind of like breaks in his throat. Like, you see the end sticking out and there's blood gargling everywhere, and they the woman tries bashing his kneecaps in with a pan. It's just full on stuff, and there's no soundtrack for the whole scene, so it just makes it even more realistic and intense and just brutal. And they end up sticking his head into a gas oven, like turning the switches on. You can see his arms helplessly struggling around. It just shows, the scene is meant to show you how hard it is to kill someone, and it's just really intense, uncomfortable scene. It's one of the most gripping scenes in the movie, strangely enough. And so he goes and gets the formula from this professor, and they had to be smuggled out of East Germany back into the West German side. So they're on a bus with their contact in East Germany, and the bus scene is really suspenseful as well. Like, they go for all these roadblocks with East German police, and they think they're going to be caught the whole time, and found out as spies for the US. And it's just a really intense set piece in the movie. The film wasn't bad at all. I thought it was quite an interesting thriller, despite the dire circumstances of its production. I wouldn't call it Hitchcock's best film. It's one of his lesser known and not a great film, but it's really not as bad as people say it is. I saw it for the first time, so this is still quite fresh in my memory. I enjoyed it. I thought although the cast were kind of miscast, there was potential in it. It could have been a lot worse, and it's one of Hitchcock's late films, so it's not one of his best known. And after this, he only did 3 more movies, I think: Topaz, Frenzy, and Family Plot. And all of his later films, post Money, are in the Essentials, the Masterpiece Collection on Blu-ray, which I own, and this film is included in it. The picture quality is quite good on the disc, no problems there. Good sound, good audio. I'm not sure if it's available separately. If you want to see this one, you might have to get the box set, but I'd recommend the box set anyway. It's a really essential purchase for anyone who's interested in this great filmmaker. Okay, that's Torn Curtain, everyone. I'll be back with some more reviews soon, hopefully some more Hitchcock and some other directors. I'm open to requests. If you want me to review any other films, please send me your submissions in the comments. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe to my video. Have a great day, everyone, and a great evening. See you later.